What's up, Chris?
Oh, I love that music.
I know. Can't get enough of it. I just guilty confession. I just put it on repeat. That's how I fall asleep every night.
Well, Cool Plug is actually somebody in our office actually created that beat, which I thought was pretty nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't even have to hide who it is. Jeremy Sweedland, another
Yep,
marketer and
you probably know him.
very, very musically inclined. If you've been to one of our events, I guarantee you know
Oh
Jeremy.
yeah,
He's
oh yeah.
larger than life. One of the greater dudes in the world.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so
Plug it.
today,
Shout out to Jeremy.
yeah. So today we're gonna hit on what financial advisors do each and every day and
I know
how it
they've been getting bored with the lawyery talk, and so now this is where they're coming in and to really do the mic drop.
where they fit in this enhanced planning of
Yeah.
all financial planning and putting the plan together. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the entire world, asset protection and wealth preservation. What do you do every day, Chris?
Pretty much that's all we talk about. Those annuities, they seem to be perfect fits for asset protection and safe money planning. So we might know what we're talking about on this episode, Dustin.
Ensuring somebody's retirement. Gets me excited for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's just you gotta do this. I mean, it's the most important thing when you get into retirement. As we've said a million times throughout this podcast so far, these people are worried about running out of money. So asset protection's number one. And if you haven't heard of the Color Money Risk Analysis website, don't tell our bosses because we might get fired. One of the best things to start those asset protection conversations with.
It's the first step. First step of finding out what their risk tolerance is. I like to call it risk aversion, but
That's good.
doesn't mean that they're completely risk averse. So I'll get right into it here. Um, I, how many green shirts do you have?
This is actually a like almost a navy dark blue. I think it's the lighting in my room or in my office here. I
I feel
don't
like I feel like you're hoping that the president of Augusta National sees these and is like, this guy just needs tickets. He
knock on
needs
wood. Knock
tickets,
on wood. I'll do
and you
anything I can.
got to bring your co-host. So
Deal.
that was one of the funnest weekends of my adult life. Outside of family was going to Augusta. Pretty cool
Buck,
stuff.
bucket list for sure.
Yeah. Okay, back to topic. I apologize here. So, um, essentially, within enhanced planning, and after you essentially have put together um, the last will and testament, and you create a trust, and now you want to fund that trust, and you want to talk about what you're going to put in that trust and how you're going to help people allocate their assets, and by no means should their entire retirement portfolio be completely insured by insurance products because
Correct. Yeah.
you definitely want those assets to grow and move forward. But we're going to talk about a couple of those strategies here today. Some, again, like our last episodes, are going to be a little off the wall that we found in research, but some of the other ones are things that people do each and every day, not only to protect assets and preserve the individual's wealth, but really to ensure that their lifetime of hard work is passed on to beneficiaries and it goes to the right people. So, well, I'm going to let you start off talking about a couple of these. So,
Yeah, I mean, kind of an obvious one, but the homestead exemption, really taking advantage of the homestead exemption. It does vary by state. I will say that. So you need to Google your state specific homestead exemptions, but it's just to protect the equity in a primary residence from creditors. So, which obviously we all want to do. We don't want
sure.
anybody coming and taking our house. The next one, and again, another pretty obvious one for you guys is just the retirement accounts, utilizing those qualified retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs. They're often protected from creditors' claims to safeguard those retirement savings. So that's a big one as well. You also,
I'll jump on the next one.
yeah, this would be right up your alley, I think.
So, family limited partnerships and limited liability companies. I don't know that this one's going to apply to a lot, but if you work with business owners or you work with really high asset people, things to think about. Obviously, favorable tax treatment, and in the case that something happens, there's a lot of limited liability there. A lot of things that we see, or a lot of times we see irrevocable trusts come across our desk. Creating an irrevocable trust, for domestic assets, stuff of that nature. Um, and obviously that irrevocable lifetime insurance trust that we mentioned last week. And then you're obviously just shielding assets from creditors and providing benefits to beneficiaries. I'm going to hit the next one is tenancy by entirety. Um, I had to read about this one, and it's kind of shocking because it's essentially holding certain types of property, such as real estate and personal property, and tenancy by the entirety, and essentially protecting those from the individual debts of one's spouse. Um, it's something I really need to research after we get off this call today. My wife might thank me for that at some point. So um, the next one I actually have in place, but I'm going to let you talk about it.
So irrevocable trust, just creating these. Really, it's a domestic asset protection trust. I know you don't hear about that, they call that, but irrevocable trust, irrevocable life insurance trust. They're mainly designed to shield assets from creditors while providing benefits for the beneficiaries. And irrevocable, obviously, you know that.
We're going to edit that out. I talked about irrevocable trust and tenancy entirety. I was going to have you talk about an umbrella liability insurance so I can
Oh,
edit
okay.
this. So just give yourself a second and then we'll go right to that.
So yeah, next up, umbrella liability insurance. So again, probably not something that comes up a ton, but getting this, it provides just additional protection against potential lawsuits and liability claims. So complementing asset protection strategies with an additional layer of coverage.
Yeah, umbrella policy is actually a pretty cost-effective way to put in a ton of insurance or cover yourself and your family. So, and then we're going to get into business entity structuring. And once again, you are a business owner. You work with business owners, making sure that you're very well versed within the business structure and business entities to help them not only pass on a business or at least the assets to make sure there's no major liabilities there in the event of one's passing. So those are a list of things to talk about on the asset protection side. We'll get into the wealth preservation, which a lot of these kind of feel like they overlap a lot and kind of become the same thing. So um, it's a lot of slogans, not slogans. It's a lot of terms and phrases that we hear every day, whether it's from some of our top advisors in the marketing that they do to somebody calling in and saying we're doing this and we need to get something a quote for this or whatever. So essentially a few of these key items are definitely an integral part of wealth preservation and financial planning and enhanced planning. So tax efficient estate planning, obviously, right, what we talked about last week. um, you know the strategies to essentially minimize estate and gift taxes and the exemptions that come along with them and planning ahead of time to do that. Obviously, trusts are a big part of leveraging how to avoid probate and moving um, essentially wealth to the next generation. And then I just said it again, but business succession planning is a huge part of it. And so that that is those are some of the key components. We got a few more here I'm going to let you hit on. Um, but the reoccurring theme here in all of this, Chris, is that we just you need to make sure that you're having these conversations with people and understanding where the assets are, how they are essentially situated, and do we have them in an efficient manner to pass on to the next generation.
Yep, you're exactly right. And I know we hit on it a lot last week that business succession planning is big. The intergenerational wealth planning. That's a big word, even for me. But mainly getting into the talks with these clients that, okay, if you're going to be passing on a big estate to your heirs, you've got to have they've got to be educated and preparing that next generation for the responsibility that comes with this. Because the last thing you want to do is give your son, daughter, whatever, a ton of money, and they just don't know what to do with all of this. And, or even, let's say you have a lot of illiquid assets. What are they going to do with this? How are they going to manage it? So that's a big thing as well. Another one, again, we hit on this a little bit last week to help reduce those tax implications, but philanthropic giving and charitable planning. So being able to, again, know where that money is going to go to, whether it be a church, a charity, but you got to have those organizations aligned with the individual values, just to provide those tax benefits, just to help with the family legacy mainly.
Yep.
And
Yep. Perfect.
so,
The one thing that we always talk about and encourage, especially, in offices that have, family in them, whether it's a husband and wife that run the office together, or they have children in the business. This also applies to, the planning that you're doing, and that's family meetings and communication. I mean, the most transparent any person can be with anyone else is always going to be best for planning and setting for the next generation. And, but let's not sugarcoat it. You and I, we have tough, difficult conversations amongst our team and the things that we do here. And, I try to make it my policy is, it doesn't matter who we're speaking to. Tell them how it is. Tell them the truth, whether they like it or not. Let's don't sugarcoat it, and then they can make the best decision from there. And so, I know you're always um, coming down on me for giving bad advice. I know, but so
only on my golf game.
having to undo all that bad advice and swing for the young little whippersnapper. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, all right. So I'm going to let you hit the last two here, and then we're gonna keep this one brief today.
Yeah. So obviously, with all of this planning, you've got to keep your family informed. You don't want them surprised, and obviously, that's another thing that helps after the fact. Hey, we're going to go to Mr. Advisor that took care of mom and dad once this happens. But the next one, though, and this is basic. We all know this: asset diversification and risk management. Going back to our Color of Money risk analysis website, that has been one of the most, I'd say, beneficial ways just to start any appointment process. Getting their risk score, seeing where their current assets are, and then getting them diversified to line up with that score. And that's one of the biggest ways to set the entire appointment process up as a concept, not a product sale. It's we're going to truly take care of you, and we're going to provide some solutions. And here's how we're going to do it. We got to first find out where you are and where you want to go, and then we can build a plan for you. And this is obviously just where you come in. Lastly, but the professional advisory team. So getting those experts involved. Like I said, our team of CPAs, CFAs, and Case Central. We've got our estate guru for the estate planning attorneys. You're the expert in the financial planning side of it. So if you can be the quarterback and let us provide the areas you're not, I'd say, licensed or designated to be able to help with, let Gradient help you with those things. And so just by implementing all of those different strategies, you're going to be light years ahead on protecting their estate, reducing the taxes that are going to be due when that happens, making sure their assets are protected with all of this. And obviously everybody's a little bit different. They've got their unique situations, but the most important part, and we've yelling this from the rooftop, is these clients of yours do not want to run out of money, and they want to take care of their loved ones. And so if we can do both of those, they're going to be a client forever and give you unlimited referrals. And that's what we're all wanting.
Helping the next generation too. Hey, real quick question. My ADD is getting the better of me. Does your chair swivel? I don't know how you stay still the whole time, and I'm just sitting here. It look like I'm listening to a rock concert. Catch myself every time, like, sit still, stop moving. So,
I can't sit still. The ADD in me, I've got to be moving around a little bit.
It's so bad. All right, so if you want to see these videos on the regular, what should these guys do?
Click and subscribe, like and subscribe to our page, and we will You'll get notified every week when they drop, and you go like and share them so that way we can keep putting them out there. And feedback's always great too. We love to hear what you like, what you don't like, if you can't understand us, if I sound like a moron. All of that stuff's good feedback.
All right. And that was part 4 of enhanced planning. Now, I can't give you a name, but I think we got somebody that's ready to travel to Kansas to play golf with you. So I'm
All right.
fairly pumped with that. I'll meet you guys at the watering hole afterwards. But,
Good. The
yeah.
19th tee box. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite. It's absolutely my favorite. So like and subscribe. We've got some really cool episodes coming up here this fall, and talking about how insurance companies invest the monies that policyholders put in, and how they can essentially give such caps and rates and bonuses and do all of that stuff. And obviously, some companies are better at renewal rates than others, but we're going to have a guest on for that. I'm really, really excited about that one. I've got another guy I hope that we can talk to, you and I, that runs essentially a practice that's in the medical field. But in talking to him, he runs his business just like any other financial advisor does. And I mean, it is 100% just, it's the same process over and over and over again. I don't want to tease this one too much, but his staff memorize scripts as people go through the process in his office.
And that's one thing Rami and Million Dollar Minds is very good about, is every staff knows their role. They know exactly what their job is. And that's very important when it comes to consistency for each client.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you don't know what Million Dollar Minds is, call Chris. He will get you registered, and it will change your life. Not just your business, but your life. Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah. Like we've got Dave, who has dramatically had different results after going through Million Dollar Minds. I think Jean in her office would tell you the same thing. Like they revolutionized some of the things that they were doing, and revolutionized is probably a bad word, but they copied what Rami was doing, and like the results, it's the hockey stick. It just.
And if you're not doing a business tune-up every couple of years, you owe it to yourself. If you can't do the Million Dollar Minds, we've got our New Generation University coming up in October. That is huge. The guy that we have featured there, it's funny, you know this, Dustin, but just 5 years ago, he was a Gradient employee. Now he's up over 80 million under management. He's doing 6 to 7 million a year in annuities, just by taking the Gradient processes and just sticking to that consistency. He even attended the Million Dollar Minds, but that is a great resource to be able to learn from. So if you haven't done good, just like I said, business tune-up in a while, you owe it to yourself. We'd love to have you up there.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, how do they get a hold of us again?
800-407-4137 or email peak@gradientib.com, peak@gradientib.com.
The opinions herein may be from personal experience and may not necessarily be those of Gradient Financial Group, its employees, or affiliates. Any results, topics, or outcomes are for informational purposes only. Financial professional use only.